It's 50 different hearts, but it's only one pulse.
What is your next professional goal?
Win a championship with Tigres Raga this year. Luckily, the 2 years I was with the Tiburones, we made the playoffs, so I think if I'd have stayed one more, we maybe would have won the championship.
Who gave you your nickname?
Raya de Cal presenta Perfiles, un espacio en el cual los protagonistas cuentan su propia historia. En esta oportunidad conocerás a Welby Sheldon Bailey, mejor conocido como Buddy Bailey, nacido el 28 de marzo de 1957 en Norristown, Pensilvania, actual mánager de los Tigres de Aragua y una referencia de la historia del béisbol venezolano.
You started as a very young baseball player, but as a very young baseball player, someone told you, hey, come on, you will be a coach, right? That was in 1983?
1983, I was at Major League Spring Training with the Atlanta Braves. Joe Torre was the manager. And a couple of days before I was a non-roster catcher invitee to Big League Spring Training. And a couple of days before the first game, Dale Maxwell said, hey, Joe wants to talk to you, who was the manager. Go in. I'm thinking, what have I done wrong or whatever? And then he was telling me a lot of people in the organization had seen me for a couple of years and recommended me to be a manager. They needed a rookie league manager. And I told Joe, I'm really young, I want to keep playing. But at the same time, he said, if you want to stay in the game a long time, this is probably your best bet. Basically telling me I didn't have a chance to play in the big leagues, but I didn't want to listen to it. But I took the job, and luckily I'm still putting on a uniform managing today. And even getting to the first couple of days, you caught yourself wanting to play, but about halfway through the rookie league season, it took about 30, 35 games. Then you really lock yourself into managing the team, and had a bunch of young kids that got better, and it was kind of ironic. Some of them were only 1 or 2 years younger than me, and I was managing them. So the first day I had a meeting as a manager, I was kind of scared. Oh my gosh, I got to walk through this store and talk to them. But luckily, it was their first time in pro ball, and they were white as a sheep, and they were more nervous than me. And after a couple of seconds, I realized they was more scared than me, and then I just felt more comfortable.
So you knew you were the guy for that.
No, I don't know if I was a guy. I was learning as I went along the way too, and I'm still learning.
Okay, you reached 2,000 minor leagues wins. Not a lot of people have done that.
No, I've been lucky. It means I've had a lot of longevity, but in baseball, when you have a lot of wins, it means you got a lot of losses too, because nobody is like football or somewhere where you win 35 and tie 2 and lose 4. So it means you got a lot of losses, but it is something when I get done right now. I got a buddy who was telling me I'm 4th all time in the history of minor league baseball in total wins, and it's 2,300 and some. So that means something, but at the same time, when you're still working and doing your job, like the success with the Tigres here before, that'd be something when you retire and you take time to look back and really appreciate how lucky you've been and the players and people you've been around. But right now, the job is to, when I go back to the States, is manage for the Chicago Cubs, and while I'm here, is do the best job I can for the Tigres and try to win a championship.
I have a doubt. Who gave you your nickname? Buddy?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yeah, because I was named after my dad, and they called me Junior, and she didn't like any of that. So as soon as I was born, she started calling me Buddy, and it stuck.
Oh, wow. That's curious. Good. Because everybody knows you as Buddy Bailey. I don't think people says Welby.
Nah, just a few friends that when they're clowning around will call me that name, but most everybody just knows me by Buddy.
There are some rumors about your strong temper. Is that true?
I don't know about temper, but I believe in. I'm a perfectionist. I work, and that's what you strive for as a player, as a coach, a manager. You strive for perfection, and if you come up short, then it's still good enough. If you don't expect the most out of yourself or out of your players, where do you stand? And it's just trying to instill things in players that you've got to push yourself to the limit all the time.
Do you think that's the key for success?
I don't know. I think hard work is the key to success. Any job that you have, you've got to apply yourself. If somebody is giving you money to do a job, you give it all you got, and that's the best you can do. I mean, and you should strive to be the best you could be, whether it's any business, not only in sports, but in life. Any business that you're doing, what you're doing right now, you should be motivated to be the best in the whole country of Venezuela. And if you do that and you come up short, you're still amongst the best, and that's what you want to be remembered as one of the best. And it's only one ever the best. So amongst the best is good enough.
And how was the first time you came here to Venezuela? How did you get here? Who called you?
Rafael and actually David Brito's father, Enrique, was the first phone call, but he was working with Rafael Rondon, and they called me one year, asked me did I want to come. I said yes, and then things didn't work out, and then the next year when they called back, I was able to come, and that's where I've been here. That's when I started coming, and 2002 was my first season coming.
And you had heard about Venezuelan Baseball League?
Well, being in baseball, you know about baseball, and of course, Venezuela, Dominican, and the countries that play. And about that time is when some of the superstars in Major League Baseball that were coming were Venezolanos. And one thing about it that I think really catapulted baseball in Venezuela on the scene really quick, about the time I got here, was when they had the Parallel League, where every team here had it, and some organizations in the States. You had guys 16, 17 years old playing there, getting at bats and playing a good competition. Miguel Cabrera, Altuve, Carlos Gonzalez, all these guys. And there's a bunch of guys. I could sit here for 30 minutes and name off names. But they got the luxury, 16, 17 years old, 18, playing against good competition, 50-some games a year. So they were progressing way ahead of the Dominican kids, because the young Dominican sits on the bench. He doesn't play. Whereas here the young players were playing, and the American kids are sitting at home with no chance to play baseball because of the weather, and it's just not the culture to play in the winter much. So I think that was really catapulted Venezuelan players to the big time, and that's why so many of them are superstars.
And when you arrived to Tigres de Aragua for the first time in 2002, since that first season, you achieved a final and then 6 championships. How do you describe that dynasty of Tigres de Aragua?
I don't know. There was the right chemistry. The front office gets the right makeup of chemistry of a roster, and as a manager and coaching staff, you have to figure out and evaluate what pieces fit where, when you need them, and all this. And then as you grow, and you have to do it in a setting where the players grow individually to get better, but at the same time everybody's growing together to be a team together. And I say it all the time, when you're going to win, we have 34 guys on the roster, we got coaching staff and others, about 50 of us probably. 50 people have to have, it's 50 different hearts, but it's only one pulse. You can't have 50 different pulses. It's got to be 50 hearts but one pulse. And when everybody comes together and can get that one pulse, that's when you're successful.
That's a team.
That's the team.
And you just talked about Miguel Cabrera, that you managed him. What do you feel about it? Because this year he was retired.
I know, it's kind of, time has flown by. The first year I came, he was playing every day. He had just played A-ball with the Marlins. Then he played that winter, hit like 325, 330, and I actually went back to the United States. I was managing Pawtucket AAA, and I told my hitting coach, I said, there's a young dude that everybody in the United States is going to know a lot about, and it's not going to be very long. And he kind of go, yeah. I said, his name's Miguel Cabrera. And then sure enough, the next year he gets called to big leagues on a world championship club that he was a big part of. And my buddy later said, man, how did you know that? I said, I know he was going to be one of these guys, but I didn't know it was going to be this quick either. It just tells you how special a talent he was. Amazing talent in the batter's box. And a lot of players I have now in the United States, I talk about him, his approach, how his discipline was. And he had it as a young guy, and he's had it forever. And that's why he's so successful. And a lot of hitters big leaguers, even the guys in the big leagues now, ought to look at what he's done during his career and what his approach was for them to learn to be better.
And in 2013, you left the team. That was like a grief for all the fans of Tigres. But then you came back to Venezuelan Baseball League with Tiburones de la Guaira. How was that experience with other team? Was kind of weird for you?
It was different. It really wasn't different until we came to this stadium. We played the Tigres. It was different, but in the minor leagues, you have a different team every year, and you never have the same, even though it's the same organization. But no team's ever the same, and it was like going through the same process, learning the players, and they learn you, and then trying to mold a team together. And luckily the 2 years I was with Tiburones, we made the playoffs. So I think if I'd have stayed one more, we maybe would have won the championship because all the pieces were coming together the right way. But they elected to go some other way, and then I stayed at home a few years.
And you know, last season, I talked to you right there when you were honored for Tigres de Aragua when your number was retired. So now you are using it again. So how was that contact to, hey, buddy, come here again to manage a team?
That was nice. I really appreciate the idea that they wanted me to come back down here for a while and honored me the way they did. But you know, I don't think about it that much because I'm back in a uniform and working, trying to do the best we can to win a championship again. That's something else I'll reflect on. But when I left Venezuela last year, it was a special moment. But now I'm back in the trenches working. That was then, this is now.
And what did you feel when they called you, come back again?
No, that was nice. I didn't know what they were going to do, but I'm thankful for the opportunity, and we haven't gotten off to the start that we really want as far as one loss, but a lot of the things that you try to mold together are coming together. It's like having a piece of clay, and somebody tells you to make something really pretty out of it. And it takes a little while to start figuring out where you're going to put this, that, and other. We're getting there, though, and the main thing in this league is be at your best in January. Not in October, not the 1st November, but you want to be at your best in one of those teams that are playing in January and be one of them, but be playing your best baseball at that time.
And talking about the team, how do you see the team? And the second question is, what's the difference between those old Tigres de Aragua in 2002 and this team?
I know it's some similarities in it. It's one of those things that you just kind of, everybody learns each other. The players learn me, the way I do things, or my personality or whatever, and the work ethic that I expect out of players, and on the same time, keep trying to bring each other closer together so when we do win, teams win, players perform. And players don't win games. You got to understand that. It's not an individual thing. It's a team effort. Right. You do your job, he does his job, you do your job, then we win together.
What do you think has been your greatest achievement in your 40 years of career?
Probably being able to stay in baseball for over 40 years. That's the biggest one. God bless me, I haven't had health issues or something where I'm able to go to the ballpark every day. And to do it this long, I feel like baseball is the #1 sport in the world that's a kid's sport. It's a kid's sport. I'm lucky I live in extended childhood. At my age, and I've been able to be in baseball forever, put on a uniform, throw a ball, hit a ball, whatever, be around players. I live in extended childhood.
And what is your next professional goal?
Win a championship with Tigres de Aragua this year. And go to the Caribbean and win there too. But let's one step at a time. Qualify, win a championship, then Caribbean.
Step by step.
Yes.
And you have always said that you like a lot Maracay and Venezuela. You are a Maracayero. And what does Maracay mean for you?
I don't know. Since those championships and when I go somewhere, everybody kind of recognize you and people are always nice to me, and they always were. You know, maybe some nights after you lose, they're not as nice as when you win. But at the same time, people have accepted me here. And I'm a gringo, but being here in America so much, kind of in the way I am. If you look back at all those years, I was here. I'd come in September before spring training, go to the Caribbean World Series, spending 5-6 months here. So over 16 years, I spent 8 or 9 years in Maracay. So I spent more time in Maracay than any other city in the world, so even at my home. So, I'd stay in Virginia where I'm from maybe 10 days a year, and I'd spend 6 months here, and wherever I had to go work in the States, I'd be.
And speaking about being a lot of time here in Maracay, how good is your Spanish?
Not good enough.
Okay. And you're a baseball man. What does baseball mean for you?
It's been everything. It's been my life. What can I say? I told you I live in extended childhood. I get to go to the ballpark, try to learn as much as I can every day, and try to do the best I can to help players get better.
Let's start. What's your favorite music style?
Country music.
And your favorite singer or band?
I do like Elton John a lot.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Good. What's your favorite baseball player of all time?
That's hard. It's so many good ones. I idolized Johnny Bench when I was a kid. He was in his prime and I was a catcher, so probably Johnny Bench as a kid.
What sports do you like besides baseball?
Most all of them. Golf, American football, soccer. Believe it or not, American likes soccer. I do like watching that. So other than baseball, I like almost all sports. I'm a junkie with the remote control, flipping channels, watching what I can.
And what's your hobby?
Golf and fishing.
What's your biggest virtue?
Oh, probably honesty.
A flaw of yours?
Probably short fused, something too much.
And your happiest moment in life?
Probably winning the Caribbean World Series. I thought that was representing the country to win. Like I told the people when we, back at that day, that when we won the league championship, it was for Maracay and Tigre fans. But when you won the Caribbean World Series, that's for all of Venezuela.
Your biggest wish?
To win a championship this year for the Tigres.
And describe yourself in 3 words.
Yeah, I need a dictionary for that. I can't do that.